are, we send our best wishes, regards, and we pray to Almighty that Lord Buddha help everybody to remain healthy, having good wellness world over wherever the people are. So, ladies and gentlemen, yet another very powerful evening today. That's on Friday, 9th of October 2020, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. It is the 215th webinar in our series that is making education relevant. And every Friday evening, we discuss, we share the thought process. What is the relevance of Buddha's teachings in today's education system? So, sermon by the global speakers from world over, they come. We extend a very hearty welcome to our distinguished guest this evening. I wish to start over here. First of all, we pray to Lord Buddha that Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya ji should recover faster. He is at present not well. The Secretary General of the International Buddhist Confederation. We pray to Lord Buddha that he should recover soon. We extend a very hearty welcome to our moderator, the lady behind the show, who basically takes care of the entire program, getting the resource persons and conducting the program, moderating the discussion. And she is the live wire of this particular program when I talk about, ladies and gentlemen. So Dr. Christie Chang from Taiwan, she is the Joint President, International Buddhist Confederation. We extend a very hearty welcome to Venerable Tsunma Tenzin Dasel and Dr. Ong Si Yok. So while extending them a hearty welcome, I take a privilege, just 5-6 minutes. I'll share some of the slides so that the people, those are joining us for the first time today, they all get an idea what this program is, what do we do throughout the week, and what is there very special on Friday evening. And thereafter, then we will take on today's program. Ladies and gentlemen, International Chamber for Service Industry, it's basically a confluence of 30 million non-resident Indians world over in the different countries. And we take care of the entire services sector, the policy framework, white paper, action plan, roadmap, whatsoever has to be done in services sector, we take care of that. As education is also services sector, and during this pandemic, education has been badly disrupted. There's a digital divide. 1.86 billion children are at present away from schools, colleges, universities, institutions. So the hand-holding of the educators, teachers, corporate, with the help of the corporate for the youth, has to be done across the entire globe in the different countries, in the different continents, and whatsoever best we can do in a humble way, how to make education relevant and how to reach out every youth and every teacher. That is the effort. During lockdown, we all understand thought processes are affected, business is deeply affected, physical and mental health is affected, and main part of the universe, education is deeply, deeply affected. Now, this is the complete canvas of the week so that we all get an idea that we are working Monday to Sunday. Yes, Monday to Sunday. It is not Monday to Friday, it is Monday to Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days, we talk directly to the youth, and that is the youth empowerment strategies we talk about. Friday evening, today is Friday, so every Friday evening, 5 to 6 p.m., relevance of Buddha's teachings in education system in today's times. Saturday, we go to Swami Vivekananda's teachings for education and youth empowerment. Saturday, thereafter, we have the second program, because Saturday we hold 2 programs and Sunday we hold 3 programs. So Saturday, the second program is regarding your health and wellness, where we talk about what exactly is to be done. Tomorrow is a very important lecture. World over, children, parents, teachers, educators, everybody is passing through a very difficult mental state at this point of time. So what exactly happens in our mental system when you're stressed, when you carry anxiety, when you have a depression, And when you are having adverse situations, circumstances, how to overcome that and how to be mentally robust. Tomorrow we would be getting a doctor sharing with us, psychologist, all related to mental makeup, mental robustness, mental toughness, and mental empowering strategies. Then comes Sunday morning. Sunday morning, we take you to California, Srimad Bhagavad Gita and 10 Principal Upanishad. We talk right from the Woodbury University. Professor Satinder Diman, he talks to us. And Sunday evening, 3 to 4 p.m., India, ASEAN, joint series, all the 10 countries in the ASEAN and India together. And the last program on Sunday evening, 5 p.m., we talk about your employment, your entrepreneurship, your startup, your stand-up, micro, small, medium enterprise, whatever has to be done, that is on Sunday evening. Every day we are live from morning 9 till evening 9, 12 hours in your service. Wherever we can do the beaming, we can reach out the world over in different countries to help out the entire education ecosystem. This is what I was talking about here regarding your health. And this, of course, was Sunday morning, and this is Sunday afternoon, and this is Sunday evening. And thereafter, when we proceed, ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate that our immediate past president, he holds his second PhD into Buddhism. And having done his PhD and where he spent about good 8 years, so we started very baby steps and humble steps way back in 2016, 4 years back. There were Buddha Purnima celebrations, and our president told us that we should have a very active part in this particular program. So it was Buddhist Heritage and Pilgrimage Journey, where India, ASEAN, and East Asia, they were connected together on a common platform. And then in month of January 2018, we had another meeting that was Living Buddhist Leadership. It was a global confluence of Buddhist followers from the world over. And then on 21st of June 2020, we had a very big gathering where Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya ji, he gave the closing remarks, and Professor Satinder Diman delivered the keynote address on Buddhism, harnessing the well-being when we talk about of educators through Buddhist psychology. So that was being done over there. Sometimes we just wonder what must have happened, how the Buddhism basically flourished, and what all took place in Nalanda, Takshila, Vikramshila, other places, Acharya, Pali language, and Buddhist monks and students from world over, ancient university and the Buddhism teachings. And that particular ancient heritage, we wish to bring it alive once again. And this is the dream project of Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya ji, the International Buddhist University coming up. Our chamber is morally committed, and we are reaching out every non-resident Indian, whosoever is in different countries and who can be a part of this particular noble cause. So our efforts are to get this International Buddhist University on ground. Our chamber has also taken initiative. We are at present training 30 boys and girls. Those are from the Buddhist families, and they are getting now at present trained, and they will be the facilitator for Buddhist pilgrims, and it will be for the pilgrimage, the people who will come to India, how people should travel hassle-free to different places, different parts in India related to Buddhism. So these children are getting specially trained for that project. These are various Buddhist tourism circuits when we talk about related to in India. And these are a couple of other, the employment and entrepreneurship avenues for these children. Those are getting trained at present. Various areas are listed over here, and children are getting an exposure and hand-holding in this direction. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this entire series for the whole week, whatever we are doing, it's basically to empower the entire education ecosystem and how to make education relevant. Now, the ideal education is to remove the ignorance and to provide the desired knowledge and the competencies to every educator and every child, every youth. That only would lead to global peace. So, on behalf of our chamber, we believe in the philosophy whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. You got to conceive the idea, you got to believe in that idea, then you can achieve that idea. So let's make education relevant. You can send us a mail or you can get connected with us directly through these two numbers via WhatsApp. Now, we extend a very hearty welcome to our moderator and our facilitator for the entire series, entire program, Dr. Christie Chang. She's in Taiwan. She's the joint president of the International Buddhist Confederation. She's the chair, International Planning Committee of the 17th Sakyadhita International Association of Buddhist Women. Professionally, Dr. Christie Chang is a prolific linguistic translator and educator, leading Council on International Educational Exchange in Taipei for the last 20 years, and currently serving as the International Education Consultant at National Chengchi University in Taiwan. I would request Dr. Christie to take on the center stage and to address our two distinguished guests of the evening. With these words, Dr. Christie Chang.
Thank you, Dr. Goshan Sharmaji. Thank you so much again for your leadership, your tireless efforts. You're such a bodhisattva working from Monday through Sunday, you heard. Every day, really, working so tirelessly for the benefit of all sentient beings. Such a genuine bodhisattva. Thank you. I want to thank you on behalf of all those who have benefited from your hard efforts. And once again, we want to keep Venerable Dhammapiya Ji in our prayers, in our hearts and thoughts. Hopefully he will recover very soon and then join us again very soon. So as a convention, we always start our program with the chanting, taking refuge in the Triple Gem. And today with our Venerable Dhammapiya Ji with us, luckily, among the two panelists, we have Venerable Tsunma Tenzin Dasel. So we would like to request Venerable Tsunma Tenzin Dasel to please start the chanting first before we start. Venerable.
Madam.
Is Venerable still on?
I think she got disconnected.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. If that's the case, maybe CU can help too in the party chanting.
Sure. Let's do a quick and brief chanting. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu michachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sura meraya majapamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu,
That's
sadhu.
a brief, 3 refuges and the 5 precepts that we've just chanted.
Thank you, brother Dr. C.U. Ong. Okay, so is Venerable Tenzin Dasa back? I think she's still, oh, there she is. She's on. Thank you. Since we actually have a little time, we heard the party chanting just now, and Venerable Tenzin Dasa can do a short Vajrayana chanting, taking refuge in the Triple Gems. Please, Venerable. Venerable, can you hear us? Some technical difficulties there. All right, that's okay. Then we will invite Venerable to do the closing chanting instead. All right. So let me start introducing our 2 panelists today. The first panelist, hopefully Venerable will be ready to join us, but let me introduce her first. So our first speaker is Venerable Tsunma Tenzin Dasel from USA. Venerable Tsunma Tenzin Dasel is the lead teacher and meditation guide at her home center Tashi Gatsel Ling in Maine State, USA. She collaborates with several Maine high schools to give talks on Buddhism and guides meditation for the students and teachers. She returns to her home center in the States once a year. She has been practicing Buddha Dharma with her root Lama, His Eminence Khensur Rinpoche Lobsang Tsetan since 2002. So Venerable took novice ordination in 2016 at Thosamling Nunnery in India, and her full shamanary ordination in the Vajrayana tradition, received Gatsoma vows from His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama in 2017 at His Holiness's private temple in Mcleod Ganj. She served at Thosamling Nunnery for 2 years and was the lead Samatha retreat teacher during this time. She currently serves as assistant to the Most Venerable Tsunma Tenzin Pomo, also our joint president of IBC and also president of Sakyadhita International. And she's Tsunma Tenzin Pomo is also the abbess of Dongyu Getsul Ling Nunnery. Currently, our Venerable Tenzin Dasel is serving as her special assistant. So Venerable Tenzin Dasel has been awarded with several prestigious awards for her noble work for humanity. And our second distinguished speaker is Dr. Ong Si Yu. You just heard him chanting. Dr. Ong Si Yu is the Secretary General for the Malaysian Buddhist Kulapati Association. Dr. Ong was active in Dharma work. Well, I should say he has been really active in Dharma work since his school days in the late 1980s. Upon his retirement from the youth organizations, he currently serves as the president for the Malacca Buddhist Lodge, Secretary General for the Malaysian Buddhist Kulapati Association, and chairman of the editorial board for Eastern Horizon Buddhist magazine. Dr. Ong is also the founding president of Udambara Mission, a charitable organization that provides education and welfare support to children and youth in underdeveloped Buddhist countries, especially in India and Cambodia. He was appointed as an advisor to the World Alliance of Buddhists, YBAM, Young Buddhist Association of Malaysia, which stands for that, and many other Buddhist organizations. Dr. Ong currently works as a partner with one of the fourth largest international accounting firm. And while serving in Dharma works, he was also invited by many organizations to deliver Dharma sharing and leadership programs, both locally and overseas. So you can see that Dr. Ong is very successful, both in his career and his Dharma career, volunteer work. Yeah? He incorporates modern teaching techniques in his Dharma sharing and leadership training programs, where most of the students found it effective. He was also invited as a speaker and moderator in various international Buddhist forums and conferences. So Dr. Ong was one of the recipients of 10 Outstanding Young Malaysian Award in 2009, and he was presented the Buddhist Contribution Award by the Ministry of Culture of Thailand in 2012. In 2014, Dr. Ong was presented the World Buddhist Leader Award by the National Office of Buddhism in Thailand. So do we have Venerable Tenzin Dasel here, or she disappeared again due to technical difficulties?
Yeah, I think Venerable is still having some issue with the
Yes.
All right. So now let us welcome our Dr. Ong See You first.
All right, thank you, sister, for the kind introductions, and thank you, Dr. Gushan, for organizing this noble event. And I'm very glad, to have this opportunity to share what I've been through, especially surrounding educations, or in particular in promoting Buddhist educations, especially among the youth groups. As what I'll be sharing my screen, so that
yes, you could do that.
Take a look. Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
All right, cool. All right. So education has always been a topic that's very close to my heart. And as what was introduced by Sister Christie earlier, that I founded Buddha Dharma missions about 7 years back. That was very much like inspired by some of the students I met in India, back in India. That was back in 10 years ago. That there was a group of Buddhist youth from Bihar state. And we know that Bihar in India has been one of the underprivileged region within India, as I understand. So there's 4 girls from that region that was looking for opportunities to continue their educations. If not, I think they are being pressured within the community to get married. At that time, they were at the age of 16 or 17, if I can recall. So then, we come across this group of youth, and they express their interest in continue their educations, but they are not given the opportunity. So actually, we came up with the programs then to support them through the tertiary educations. And now I'm glad to share that all 4 of these girls has grown up, they graduated, and they have been able to get a good job, good career. And what actually touches me is that one of the girls actually, she feels that she benefited from the Buddhist community in supporting her, and now she's repaying back by contributing to the community and running some programs as well within India. So there are some things that we'd like to see as part of education. I believe is to make sure that the kindness is evolving and is passing through from one generation to another. That's the most beautiful things, and that I think is a real meaning of education. And likewise in Cambodia, we started the programs about 8 years back. That I actually come across a group of young people from a middle part of Cambodia. So I went there and visited them and come across some child that not given a proper education opportunity, even at the age of 11, haven't been to school. I couldn't imagine that, because we came from countries where we are so blessed, right? Like Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, right? So all the kids are being given opportunities to pursue their educations. But unfortunately, there are still many children who are not given these opportunities. And that's the reason why it inspired us to set up these Buddha Dharma missions, and particularly to take care of our children in the less developed Buddhist countries. All right. So for today, what I have quickly, put together, I know I only have about 15 minutes, so I try to compress my presentation within that time given. And
More time.
so first, let's try to review as in what is the purpose of education. As what Norman Cousins, one of the popular journalists, and I think he's also one of the remarkable world peace, advocator. So he actually mentions that the purpose of education is to enable us to develop to the fullest that which is inside us. So the keywords is really inside us. But if we look into what our education system is today, is very much what is outside us, right? So we are being taught on technologies, we are being taught of skills, but all is outside, right? It's very rare that we are being put through a proper mindset that how to look within us as part of our core education's curriculum. So let me just share with you one of the actual incidents that I come across. That I attended one Buddhist conference, Buddhist conference on educations, and there were speakers who actually from various Buddhist organizations and knew, this particular Buddhist organization actually run schools, and it's a very famous school in Singapore, and it's Buddhist, established school. So I asked them a very, straightforward questions. I said, this is a school that's being founded funded by Buddhist organizations, and their academic achievement is remarkable. It's been recognized as one of the best schools in Singapore. They asked them, is there any Dharma class or any Buddhist education that's being emphasized in the school? Since it's being funded by the Buddhist organization. The answer is no. So I was so surprised, right? So that actually, kind of like all of us are put into a systems that is force ourselves to look outside of us rather than inside of us, right? So let's take another quote, from Martin Luther. I think everyone knows him, right? So he actually mentions about the functions of educations being able to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. So that's very important, right? Because as we observe also in today's educations that somehow we are being forced by standard answer, so-called, right? So we're being taught, right? This is the way. But if according to Buddhism, every individuals are so unique, right? We cannot apply in terms of standard methodologies and to things that everyone is the same. So that's, I think, some things that we have to recognize. Every individuals are so unique. And he also mentioned that intelligence plus character. So character is somehow that is missing, right? As we can see that from today's education in most of the time, right? So now let's take a look when we think about the final aim or the goal of educations to actually grow a person. So we really have to take a whole person paradigm. This is not coming from me. It's coming from the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you know Stephen Covey, right? So in his book, he actually mentions that when we look into ourselves as oneself, right? We have to look into ourselves from 4 aspects. So one is being the physical aspects of us. Secondly is the mental aspects. The thirdly is the emotional aspects of us. And most important of all, there's also a inner spiritual aspects of us, right? So, and now when we talk about growth as a person, we talk about life, we really need to pursue a balanced life that is helping us to be able to see through these 4 aspects rather than being biased towards a certain area. And now let's talk about educations, the goal of educations today, right? It taught us how to earn more money, right? So I think many parents are still try to educate the children not to pursue what they like, but what they pursue as a parents think that can make more money, right? So that's the stations that we are in. So that is to focus on the physical aspects of it, that the aim is really to live, right? But of course, we know there's a mental aspects that every one of us has got the eagerness to learn, and that's how we cultivate our so-called IQ or intelligence. And I think many of us also realize that we are living in a society that interpersonal skills, how we build positive relationships among the people, is also as critical as what we know in our intelligence. So emotional intelligence then is being put through as one of the areas that people need to develop, right? But as an inner part is that every one of us, you and me, every one of us, actually inside us. So there's a desire to love as well as a desire to be loved. So that is the one that's driven the emotional aspects of each and every one of us. All right. And of course, what is sitting like really core within us is a spiritual of us inside us. So I think, in the culture, whether it's India or as a Buddhist, right, we all believe in karma. And I believe that from our upbringings and from our religion, that from the spiritual of us, we all want to live with a good karma. So that is a spiritual aspect of us. So do be mindful when we talk about educations. We have to always ask ourselves, are we balancing these four aspects: spiritual, physical, mental, as well as emotional, right? So let's look deeper into what is the world that we are in today. So I believe that, also, if not because of COVID-19, I believe that, we won't be engaged into technologies and to be able to have online courses or talks as frequent as we are today. So since March, April, that's when Singapore and Malaysia actually went into a lockdown situations that I have been involved in. I think more than 20 or 30 rounds of Dharma sharings through online. I wouldn't be able to do that given the physical scenarios in the past, right? So that looking positively is how world is changing. And if we're taking this positively, then it can transform ourselves. But if we were to live without changing ourselves and transforming ourselves, then we are being locked, right? So that's very important to acknowledge. So now what I would like to share is that looking into the current world that we are in. So we all talk about the current era as the era of artificial intelligence or AI, right? So what it means by that. So first, I would like to highlight is that the changes is rapid as never before. Things are changing very rapidly. The world is so dynamic, as in, in the past, as you look into our mobile phone, right? So in the past, we used to have this big type of mobile phone that's back like 20, 30 years back, right? And it takes a few years for them to evolve and become smaller and smaller. But nowadays, let's look into iPhone, for example. So how frequent does iPhone, upgrades or change the versions? Right, it can be as fast as on a yearly, or sometimes within a year you have different models coming out with different features. So rapid changes is one of the characteristics of the so-called AI world that we are in now. So dealing with this dynamic, so it actually concur with what Buddha has taught us, right? As in the impermanent nature, right? So we have to acknowledge that, and how only if we accept that as a fact, then we will find ways to how to cope with the nature. All right. So that is a very important, a dynamic nature, and therefore we have to stay mindful, for example, and we have to acknowledge that this is the law of life, that we have to be able to take advantage of the opportunities right up front in front of us, and be able to see that as advantage as quick as possible and as precise as possible. And with that, actually from Buddha's teachings, always been teaching us being mindful, being able to see the present, right? So that is how we should see what we can do in response to the current situations or current world that we are in, right? Now, secondly, we are talking about technologies, right? Technologies involvement. We are talking about artificial intelligence, and many people are worried that the work that they are doing may be replaced by robots one day, right? And instead of worry about that we may be made redundant one day, then let's talk about what are the difference between robots and real human beings, right? So there's definitely some things that is within us that cannot replace by robot. That's where when we talk about emotional intelligence, right? Do you think that the robot will be as emotional as human beings, as empathetic as human beings? The answer probably is no, right? So that's why that based on this, we should, rather than besides like having to cope with the technologies and to cope with the developments that is outside of us, right, and eventually being replaced by them one day potentially, right, we have to look into what are the areas that's unique as a human beings, as a soft skills that cannot replace by a robot. right? And unfortunately, people are not seeing that. And on the other way, people are more like attached towards the external technologies and being driven away or carried away by what's happening outside. Right. So that is some things that for us to really to contemplate on. Right. And then of course, one of the unique characteristics of the world that we are in is that everyone would think that they are so unique, and therefore personalized being a key in fact, in from the marketing strategy, that for any successful marketing strategy, we have to make sure that it's as unique and as personalized, customized as possible. And that's the reason why when we ask everyone to take out their mobile phone, for example, the screen, the look and feel, it can be different, right? So people tend to customize based on their needs and based on their preference, right? So we have to be mindful about this, and that is where that having to spend some time to contemplate and to develop our inner peace, our inner self, and to seek within is as important as to cope with the external technology development, right? And that's where I personally believe that Buddha Dharma is bringing values into what's evolving in today's world. All right. So like again, Bill Gates, right? So one of the favorite quotes that I would like to share tonight is that he always emphasized that every one of us is unique. So don't compare ourselves with anyone else in this world. So if you do, we are basically insulting ourselves. So that's a very strong message, right? And the key things behind this is that while acknowledging that we are unique, but the challenge also, how well do we know ourselves, right? So that is exactly the message that I would like to share, is that try to, while we are dealing with an external world that is ever changing, so do spend some time to look within ourselves and to really to understand and appreciate who we actually are. All right. So from Buddha's teachings, there are many sutras, there are many teachings, many good teachings that we can actually learn. And most important of all, we must put it in practice in our daily living. All right. So one of the favorite sutra or teachings from Buddha is the Sigalo Vada Sutta. So there's a sutta that is very relevant and useful, I find, especially for you and me as a lay Buddhist practitioners, because within the sutta itself, for not is only teaching us how to meditate and how to cultivate our spiritual aspects, but it actually covers the 4 aspects that I mentioned, and even been emphasized, by scholars today, as in it covers the very practical aspect in terms of financial management, how we can accumulate our wealth, how the wealth should be distributed, and etc. Right? And many people, you will find like surprise, doesn't Buddhism ask us to let go and to live a simple life, or no, but being a practical, as a Buddhist, we all live in a secular world that we have to deal with our daily living, right? So financial is some aspects of it that we have to take care. That of course, the core of this sutta is talking about the ethics for harmonious relationships. So it actually take the advantage. Actually, Buddha take the advantage of seeing this disciple of him, Sigala Vada. When Buddha saw him, it's like worshipping the east directions, the west direction, the north, the south, and the upper and the lower directions. And he asked him why, and he couldn't explain. He said he just inherit this, kind of traditions from his father. And that's where Buddha take the opportunities to teach him that east is representing your parents, and what is the duties as a child to the parents, and likewise what is the duties as a parents to the child, and etc. So from the 6th direction, it's actually evolved into 6 relationships that we are potentially dealing with, and how we could deal with it, right? As practical as that. And even in the sutta itself, what I find is very practical. It even teach you how to choose your friends. Where there are friends who perceive like friends, but actually is your real enemy, because they are leading you towards a wrong directions, for example. And who are the true friends, etc. And from the spiritual aspects of it, you also taught about, what is the moral conduct, especially in which is suitable for us as a layperson, as well as what are the paths that we should engage for our spiritual, developments, etc. So I do encourage, our friends, online, if you have the opportunities, do, try to look for some good guidance from this Sigalo-Vada Sutta, which is very practical, right? And of course, at the beginning of these sharing sessions, because Venerable wasn't available, so I would just, quickly did 3 refuges and 5 precepts, and that's definitely the core values of the Buddha teachings. And this is applies no matter you are Buddhist or non-Buddhist, but as long as you are living as a human, right? These are the 4 basic moral conduct that every one of us should comply to. If not, it would just, destroy the whole rule of games as a human being, right? So first is being respectful to lives, right? So harming of a living beings is something that is not allowed, within Buddhism. And also, being respectful of other people's belongings. So taking what is not given is also, is something bad, very bad, right? And sexual misconduct, being respectful to the relationships, being faithful, to your loved one. So that is some things that we should comply. And also false speech, right? So, and of course, I mean, today's, with the convenience of internet and everything, so we really have to be, aware of false speech and false information online, right? Yeah, and that is something from the actions perspective. But what's within us is driving us towards committing into those unwholesome deeds is basically, the unwholesome thoughts that may be within us, a desire, that means the greed, hatred, delusions, and fear. All right, and as a conclusions, there are some very beautiful, conclusions about when we talk about pursuing educations. Buddha teachings basically is educations, right? And once apply it and to pursue our life, right, what it means by a glorious life. So now, besides the wise, we also need to be virtuous, be gentle, be eloquent, and be energetic, and being not lazy. And even if we may come across, misfortune or bad times like what we are all going through now with COVID-19, right? So we should, still, commit ourselves into flawless conduct and be intelligent. And of course, we need to be, as a friends, we need to be compassionate to others, be approachable, and being a leader, being a teacher, being a diplomat, etc. These are the good values that we should put into practice. And most important of all is that we have to acknowledge that generosity, shall it be through what we do or what we say, is very important, because we are living not just for our own self, but how do we benefit others is as important, as what Buddha has taught us. So these are the things that has been summarized in the Sigaro-Vada Sutta, right? So I think, while Venerable is still offline, so probably I take the benefits of just, take up, sometimes to share, as in, and we talk about these topics of how to make Buddha teachings relevance in educations. And definitely, I mean, being through, I was previously the national president for the Young Buddhist Association of Malaysia, and I've been with that organization since I graduated until I retired from the youth organization. I spent like 17 years in that organizations, and through the youth organization in Malaysia, I was also, in the part of the World Buddhist Youth Fellowships during that days. So in Malaysia, what we typically do is that when we tackle or introduce Buddhist educations to the young people, we actually categorize them into few categories. So one is the teens that is in their secondary schools, right? And through our various network of Buddhist organizations throughout Malaysia, as you may know, Malaysia is a Muslim majority country. So it's over 60% of the population are Muslim, and less than 20% are Buddhist. All right. So, but having said that, we are being protected by the constitutions, for religious freedom, and Buddhism has got a long history in Malaysia itself. And because of that, throughout Malaysia, there are many Buddhist temples, Buddhist organizations being set up, and through the network of both the Buddhist organizations as well as the outreach through the schools, that we actually encourage the various Buddhist societies to be set up in secondary schools. And from there, we actually gather and identify the potential leaders as young as from the secondary schools, and we cultivate them all the way through universities. So in most of the universities in Malaysia, shall it be the government universities or the private universities, we also encourage the students to actually set up Buddhist society within the university itself, so that it provide a platform to introduce Buddha's teachings while they're studying in that college, all right, or university. And even for those like young adults who has graduated, we also encourage them to visit or to participate in the respective Buddhist organization in the area, in the township. And then, we try to promote in terms of activities that's relevant for the young people, or may create interest to the young people. As you know that, not all the young people, like to come to chant, come to meditate, right? So, but they love to sing, for example. And therefore, one of the unique features of the Malaysian Buddhist community is we produce a lot of Buddhist hymns, and it's a modern Buddhist hymns. It's not like those chanting CDs that we produce, right? I think Sister Christie have come across that. And likewise, also encourage the young couples to go through like a Buddhist wedding ceremony, so that we can introduce Buddhist cultures into the wedding and the important time of their life as well. And for not that we are tackling from the teens, actually in most of the Buddhist organizations in Malaysia, we also have the Sunday school, so that we are providing Dharma educations to the young children from the primary school. So really, I mean, we have to make sure that the education is a long journey, right? It's definitely a long journey, and we are not definitely don't expect to see the results overnight. All right, so it's about transformations. It's about it's a long-term commitment, and we really need to start from young, to introduce the moral values from young to the people all the way through, right? And it's important that we also have to make any religion teachings being relevant to the actual life scenarios that we are all facing, in our daily living. So one of the issues that we really find in Buddhism is that it's the disconnections from the teachings and the applications of it in the daily living, especially for lay disciples. So there are some things that we have to make sure that we always being mindful about that, so that we can bring values. So there's so much that I've prepared. Very quickly. I was just been informed about these sessions a week ago, so I'll just quickly put things together, and hopefully what I share is being useful and interesting. Right? Thank you very much, Sister.
Yes, thank you very much. That's very precious. So many very practical teachings of the Buddha. And I hope everyone has got to note down that Sigalovada Sutra. Many people won't imagine that the Buddha actually has taught so many practical tips in how you can lead your life. So I heard on another occasion where Dr. Ong Siu also taught according to this sutra. So it's a very, very useful sutra. I recommend that everyone go and seek after that. And thank you, Brother Ong. I was really, what you have done for the 4 girls in Bihar. That's really rewarding, seeing how they blossom. And maybe one of the days we can invite the girl teacher to come and share their stories at this platform.
Yeah, definitely. I think what we are seeing, that have been through
Yes,
is a transformations of life. That's the most beautiful things I see, right? So no matter how much that we say, but it's nothing, worth beyond, seeing someone transforming the life, through, Buddha's teachings. Yeah.
yes, exactly, exactly. So we really wanna, use this platform to invite those girls. We can discuss, we can follow up on that invitation. And also Dr. Goshan Sharmaji was, like talking to me about how we can engage more,
Yes,
students
Yeah.
yes.
to either be our audience or to speak at this platform. So I was thinking, because Venerable Dhammapiya ji earlier was saying that language is one thing, language is one barrier. But as far as I know, the English language has been more frequently used in, say, Singapore, where you are, and also Malaysia. Dr. Ong has been in both places. So how many, what is the percentage of, for example, from your Buddhist, the Young Buddhist Association of Malaysia, you think will be, willing or, ready to share the, relevance of the Buddha's teachings in such a platform? What do you think?
I think there are definitely many people who love to share, and it's always a good things to invite as many people to share from their experience itself. I think is more convincing to hear people to experience Dharma through their life rather than learn the Dharma through studying, right? So I think that is some things that I think we should encourage. Yeah.
Okay, great. So maybe I can also count on you to get more young speakers
Yeah,
for
definitely, definitely.
our program. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Are we
Yeah.
making you happy, Dr. Goshan?
Yeah. And actually, as part of our youth development programs in Malaysia and I think in Singapore as well, we also encourage the young Dharma Duta among the university students to train them as a Dharma speakers.
One,
So yeah, so I think it's definitely a good idea. So if you want to get the young people to connect with the young people, there are some things that we can work together for sure.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow,
very happy, yeah? So,
great,
so
great.
Dr. Okay, all right. This is your
Right.
rewarding time for your Buddhist studies.
Yeah.
Another thing actually that came to my mind when I listened to Dr. Ong Si's presentation, because actually last October, I was in Malacca, invited
Oh,
by Dr. Ong
yeah.
for a conference on Buddhism and AI. And actually last week, Dr. Goshan Sharmaji was mentioning this film. He said it's a must-watch film called The Social Dilemma.
Mm.
Dr. Ong, have you come across this film, The Social Dilemma?
I haven't seen the movie as yet. Yeah.
Okay. Well, basically, this is a documentary, in which the text experts, sound the alarm on the dangerous human impact of social networking. So
Mm.
maybe Dr. Goshan Sharmaji can share a little bit. He's the only one who has watched the film, actually.
All
I
right.
saw a couple of the interviews and some reviews, but I haven't seen the entire film yet. So Dr. Goshan Sharmaji?
Okay, thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Very kind of you. Now, first of all, Dr. Ong, I would like to personally thank you because you touch my emotional chord. I'm always looking forward to get young boys and girls, children from school, colleges. I keep requesting Dr. Christie on that, my sister, that why not we should involve young children. So today, when you have mentioned, I'm feeling so happy about it and everything's so good. And a few wonderful takeaways from your point. First, I would like to share with that. What is the purpose of education? Then you quoted Norman Cousins, and then Dr. Martin Luther, the King Jr. And then when you were talking about, the Stephen Covey, the 7 habits of the great people, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and the good karmas. And something, the key word which you have given over there is, which basically I want to take over here. Nobody wants to become education ministers. Nobody wants to become education minister. Nobody wants to become education secretary. Because when you become education minister, you cannot show to your prime minister or to your president overnight changes. It takes a longer period, longest rather the period, because even if you are having education K to 12 in the school, or if you are having graduation, masters or PhD, or somebody becoming a teacher. So two beautiful sentences you used. One was, education is a long journey. Don't expect results overnight. That was something very interesting which I noted down. And then you told something very interesting which you touch my emotional chord. I will take the front seat now, and I want to show you over here. See the backdrop which I have got. Now let me turn, yes, this side. You used a word, teaching should be relevant to daily living, right? The title of this entire series is Making Education Relevant. Making Education Relevant. Global confluence of intellectuals. I want to get all the stakeholders. Then there's a beautiful program on BBC. It's called Hard Talk. They have got one-to-one interview. So I have used a word called soft talk. Intentionally, because people talk about soft skills, etiquettes, manners, gesture, body language, personality, articulation, communication skills. My sister is an authority, Dr. Christie Chang from Taiwan, on linguistics and language and everything on that, you know. Whenever she speaks with a diction, with a conviction, with a proper pronunciation. So that time I realized I come from a government school and I have to pick up certain words, but then I feel very happy. The French people also speak English, Spanish also speak, Dutch also speak, German also speak. So, well, let me also speak as a good Punjabi. As long as I can convey my message, I'm very happy. Then under soft talk, I have written empowering young minds. I'm focusing on youth because youth is tomorrow, youth is future. That's what we are talking about. Down below, if you come, I'm talking about technology. What kind of technology, how it is to be used, which way it is to be utilized, and then coming down below, not living skills, but life skills. Education should not be to earn few chips. Education should be what kind of a life I want to lead. So that's why we have used a word over here, life management skills, not living skills. And then we have given follow your passion. You should be thankful to Lord Buddha if you get in life as a profession, what is your passion? But if you don't get what is your passion as a profession, then what you get as a profession, make it your passion. That is something, the philosophy one got to live. So this I just took by mistake a liberty, and I thought, but now I personally feel what I have learned from you is give equal rights to everybody. So all of us three should occupy the same space in this universe. Now, when sister was talking about Dr. Christie Chang about the movie, The Social Dilemma, I would request you and very strongly recommend every youth, every teacher, every educator, whosoever is in the education ecosystem, we must watch this movie. This movie is so powerful. 1 hour, 26 minutes movie, The Social Dilemma. And what it conveys is all the gadgets and all the internet companies and all these social platforms, they are basically playing with your neuro system. They will try and find out in one day from morning 6 o'clock till 11 o'clock when my sister sleeps, Dr. Christie Chang, what is she doing during the daytime? What is the pattern she follows? What exactly is the strong liking and disliking? What she hits on her mobile time and again? What kind of a WhatsApp she sees, or Instagram she goes through, or Facebook she goes through, or messages she sends across? Within a 1 week, there will be a pattern. And that pattern and what exactly is artificial intelligence they are talking about, that in future it will happen. If I come to know Dr. Ong watches more pictures related to virtual reality, artificial intelligence, or he watches more movies, what exactly Lord Buddha conveyed in his philosophy as far as education is concerned. Then after 1 week, the pattern will be formed. You will start getting the hit everywhere. And also, young boys and girls psychologically, psychographically, psychometrically, if you deal with that, if the girl doesn't get from a boyfriend a hit and she sees a message, or she puts a picture over there and posts it and send to the boyfriend, if she doesn't get a reply instant, she's restless, she's impatient, she's thinking all negative and so many thoughts are going through the mind. And when she gets stung, immediately, whether it's a message from anywhere, but psychologically, she gets onto that. Now, in this movie, they have given 2 experiments. The mother tells children, okay, 1 week, you will not touch the mobile phone and I will reward you. But the guy in the middle of the night on the 3rd day itself, they have shown what is passing through the psychological index and psychographically through the nervous system of that boy. How is he impatient and what exactly is going on? He is not getting sleep. He is not able to lie down. And all the time he wants to touch, and his hand unconsciously goes to the side where he used to keep his mobile phone. The girl, she breaks that particular jar and that vase in which she has kept, the mother has kept or hidden all the mobile phones. She breaks to get her mobile out. And then she gets that mobile. She sees whether the boyfriend has sent across the messages or not. Then she puts her picture of her own. She sends it to the boy. She wants to get a reply from him. She again sends it, again get a reply. Then she stands before the mirror in a virtual world, in a platonic world, and then she feels she is not beautiful. And thereafter she cries. She's in depression. She's having anxiety. She's having stress. Why I'm not beautiful? Why I'm not looking beautiful? And then the tears are rolling down. So the company CEOs, the company marketing heads, they must have got a permission from their lawyers before making this movie. The actual CEOs of the companies have come in this movie and they are talking to you that in our company, we are playing with your psyche this way. This way we send a message. Then they show a young boy how the message comes, how he sees, how he reacts, how he responds, what exactly is going on. And after some time, how it becomes a pattern. You get irritated when things are not happening to your taste, when things are not happening your way, when your parents are not allowing you to do certain things. The thing is, you are in a virtual world. You're in a platonic world. You're far away from the reality. You're getting cut off from the actual society of universe. It's a beautiful movie, and it is not done in an artificial way. The permission has been taken by the judiciary, from the judiciary and the lawyers, by the CEOs and the marketing heads, the strategist head and empowering heads. They all have taken a special permission. And then from the company's heads, like you will see the Google, what are they doing? Then you will come to know what Microsoft is doing. Then you will come to know what exactly is happening in artificial intelligence. Now, what I'm telling is, it's a wonderful, wonderful, realistic, I should not call it a movie. I should call it a reality for today's children. And every evening, I get 5 young girls in my program, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 20 kids come. And thereafter, I show them the little clip of that movie. And then this gets zapped. And then they are sending messages to me. Thank you very much, uncle, what you told us. I think we are going to behave different. We are going to be now different. I think we are morally committed. Maybe one of the I do not know, because I'm very innocent and I'm very ignorant and I'm still a child. I'm still a very humble student. I want to learn because I do not know much about Lord Buddha's teachings, and I want to learn. But I personally feel somewhere from his thoughts, we must pick up. Elders also have to walk certain steps, and younger generation also have to walk certain steps. When you sit inside the flight, when you sit inside the train, when you sit inside the bus, the public transport, the young kids are not interested to talk to elders. They are busy in their own WhatsApp. They are busy in their own virtual world. They are busy in their own chats. If you wish to talk to them, they feel offended, like, why are you talking to me? Why are you wasting my time? Why do you want to encroach on my privacy? But I think somewhere we are getting away from the society main purpose, reality of a life, and a wonderful family life. As it is, the joint families are breaking, nuclear families are coming, but after some time, yesterday finding is, who are going to be rich after coronavirus, and who are the people those are going to get maximum jobs? The first thing is the lawyers, because maximum divorce are going to take place. Maximum problems are there because all these months when people have tolerated each other, the moment they will come out, they want to come out of cage. It's like a zoological park, and from the zoo you leave a lion or a tigress. That is the way they want to come, because they were not ready to live together. And if I tell you a secret, children are not missing their schools. Children are not missing their colleges. Children are not missing their studies. Hell with the studies. That is not a botheration. The botheration is they are not able to meet girlfriend. They are not able to meet boyfriend. They are missing that hug of each other. That is missing. So thereby, we got to understand where the society is going and what is our moral responsibility and how do we want to take it further. There is one more movie today I would like to share. That day I told social media. Now there is a movie we must see, like in life when we talk about minimum. Let's live in minimum. Let's eat less. Let's eat minimal, whatever is required. So from minimal, the movie has come now, the second movie, that is minimalism. Minimalism. This is the second movie that today lot of people are dying without food. They are not able to get. And minimalism, it is also a movie to be watched. And I do not know. The nature was kind to me right from 25th of March. I'm taking only one meal in the afternoon. No breakfast, no dinner. And I sleep at about 9:15, 9:30. And I get up at 3:30 in the morning. And early in the morning when I talk to moon, I talk to stars, I look towards sky, when there is a total silence in the universe, and when I talk to myself, I want to know who am I, what is the purpose of my life on this planet, what am I doing, what can I do, because this voice and this vocal which is coming to you, it is not mine. This body which is moving is not mine. Everything belongs to someone else. I have borrowed this system and I have tried claiming that I am the owner of this system. I don't know. Whatever it is. Beta ek cup chai pilao. So what I wish to share is that I think the best message which I get from Lord Buddha, he says the desire is the root cause of the pain. That's what I keep reading all the times. Desire is the root cause of the pain. I think most of the pain in the world is because we have increased our desires. We have multiplied our desires. Have I become today's second speaker? I'm sorry. Let me just finish this and hand over to Doctor. I want to hand over to my sister.
Why not? You've been so humble. You kept saying you were a beginner in Buddhism.
That's a great sharing, Doctor. Yeah. Thank you so much.
From your heart. Thank you so much.
I want to learn from all of you. I want to learn the best possible way. And Dr. Ong, I make a humble request to you. Dr. Christie, my sister, has already made a request to you. Let's start getting these children. Let's start getting, and these 4 girls from Bihar, which you told,
Sure.
it will go a long way if we can get them. How soon you get it, it's up to you. I am impatient, and desire is the root cause of all pains. I would be waiting now because it's a desire that children should come.
It's a beneficial desire. A desire, not the kind of desire.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to, work closely with my sister here, and to get happen, very soon. Right?
I myself do not know what bond I have got with Dr. Christie Chang as an elder brother, but I always feel that I must have done some good karmas that I got a sister like her. She's a wonderful soul. She's a wonderful human being. She came as one of the speakers in this program, and we almost hijacked her. No, sister, you got to help us. You got to take this program ahead. You got to strengthen this program. You got to share whatever is possible. So I'm really, really grateful, That's the way.
You can never refuse a bodhisattva,
Thank you. Thank you.
Sadhu. So I guess our Venerable Tenzin Dasel is not coming back. Well, she's in northern India, so maybe that's why. So, but in any case, we are so happy that Dr. Or brother Dr. you
yes.
got to speak more, and then also our Dr. Goshan Shamaji got to share. I think this is wonderful, really wonderful.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah, but we are running out of our time, right?
Yes, I think
so we can do the prayers.
Yeah, so we have Dr. Yu, do the opening chanting in the Pali language. How about I do it in Chinese to close?
Sure.
In dedicating the merits, to all of us here, especially to you, Dr. Goshan Shamaji, for your Bodhisattva deeds, and our very distinguished, very, helpful speaker, Dr. Yu, and then also, again, our Dr. Goshan Shamaji, I'm sorry, our Venerable Dhammapiya ji, may he get well very soon.
Yes.
And to all the sentient beings in our universe. Yuan xiao san zao zhu fa all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering.
Thank you, sister. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Christie Chang. Thank you very much, Dr. Ong. It was a pleasure to have. Thank you very much. And we pray to Almighty for the early recovery of Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya ji. And all of us stay safe, stay fine.